You have robbed old ladies for 1 year to buy that watch, which was announced as the best. And now the company comes up with a new release, with a new watch, and they say, sorry, now this is way better. What then? Welcome to Caseback Watches. My name is Tim, and our topic in this week is a problem we all know, I think. The new watch is apparently better than the old watch, and now what can we do? And we know this from all brands, by the way. You can take the high tier, Rolex, Breitling, you name it. Every of those iconic models come in new versions. Not every year, but after some years you can be sure that there's a new enhanced version of that iconic watch you have there. And what then? What can you do? Same thing with mid-tier watches like, let's say, Tissot, Oris, and even the micro brands. The micro brands come up with a Laurier, Neptune 1, 2, 3, 4 and so forth enhanced. And so again the question, what can we do? And I have in this video 3 points to share, but I'm very curious, what do you think about this matter? Please let us know in the comments. And before I give you my 3 points, first a definition. What is a new version? I mean, sometimes it's a new watch, right? So for example, if you have a rather basic diver and the new version has a GMT hand and therefore a GMT function, so that we can say new watch. And sometimes you have a number of improvements, smaller improvements, but the entity of these improvements make a better watch. So for example, better movement with a better performance, or more thread for the screw down crown so that it seals the watch better. So you have, let's say, instead of 200 meters water resistance, you have then 300s, or very often better clasp for the bracelet, or better finishing, better polishing job for the watch. All these makes a better watch. And then again the question, should we change our old version against the new version? And now, yeah, my 3 points here. First, the tier of the watch. The higher the tier, the smaller the necessity to change for every new version, because you have icons out there and people still love them. Take, for example, the Rolex Datejust. Very simple example. You have there these older watches from the 60s, 4-digit reference, and then like mine, 16030, 5-digit reference in the 80s, so 60s, 80s. And you can say, where's the difference? Well, the main difference is that you have a quick set for the 5-digit reference and no quick set for the 4-digit reference. And now you might say, okay, but then the price must be very low for those old Datejusts because they're so basic. You need a quick set for the date. Check Chrono 24. These 4-digit reference numbers are wanted. People love them for their style and maybe for their imperfection, for their simplicity. A bit like a Volkswagen Beetle. Very basic, feels like a little tank, but people love that thing. Another example is the IWC we had in one of the last Watch of the Week episodes. I mean, the differences between those pilot watches are minimal, really minimal. But of course, IWC says now the latest version is the best version. I mean, they don't write this in the catalog, but you can assume that they think that way. But you definitely find many people that say, no, I don't want the Mark 20. I'm happy with my older Mark 18 because it has more character. I'm used to it and I just love the look more than this new thing. At least this is my experience with these high tier watches. So they keep value. When the new version comes out, the older versions keep their value mostly. And this is extremely different with smaller brands because it's so easy to flip them. If you have a micro brand product for, let's say, 500, 600 euros and then the new watch comes up, then you are tempted because flipping is so easy. I mean, imagine you have bought your watch used, then you will lose your 50, 100 bucks to change it against or for the new watch. And so if a new micro brand version comes out, it will affect mostly the price for the older, yes, but not in the high tier. Second point, look out for new versions that are driven by marketing and not technology and not by enhancements. Panerai is very famous for this. The Paneristi in the recent years complained about new versions. I mean, they were a little bit more affordable than the ultra luxury Panerai versions, but we're talking still 5, 6, 7, 8,000 euros, okay? And these new versions came enhanced or not enhanced. They came with basic non-hackable movements, for example, with this very simple snap case back. You just snap on the watch. I mean, this is a dive watch for back then for military purposes. With the snap case back, this is somewhat crazy, and so reduced water resistance, then less decoration on the movement. And of course, this is driven by marketing. They want to make something accessible for the mass market, for people who know nothing about watches. They just want the Panerai logo, and that's it, and the nice look, of course. And so, huge difference between marketing-driven new versions and real new enhanced versions. I think very, very important to keep this in mind, and Panerai is an excellent example for this. And before I give you my third point, little announcement as always, if you like the program here, every Monday watch of the week, brief reviews of recently introduced timepieces, and Friday these longer videos, and mostly nearly every week with an actual watch in the studio. And now let's keep going here with my point 3. It's just relax. You should just relax. This is my personal opinion, of course, but I see there a certain logic. When a watch company was successful with a watch edition, and they sold hundreds and thousands of these models to the public, and the return rate was relatively little, otherwise they wouldn't be in business anymore, then you have something good. Then you have something good in your hand. And when this watch has convinced you back then, why shouldn't it convince you right now? I mean, let's face it, increased water resistance from 200 to 300 meters. What difference does it make? For you as a wearer, it's not important. And now you may ask, why do they increase then the water resistance from 200 to 300 meters? Because people like to improve things, and they are in a strong competition against other brands, and they want to attract new buyers with a higher number, so that they can tell you 300 instead. Our competitor offers only 200. This is the basic reason behind it. But if you are happy with your watch, with the specifications, then who cares? Who cares if 200 or 300 meters? It's not only an example. Or a simple clasp that works for you against a very enhanced bracelet clasp. Okay, these were my 3 points. Thanks to Glenn, by the way, a viewer of the channel and supporter of Caseback Watches. This was his idea. He asked me about this topic, and it's definitely a great topic, Glenn, so thank you very much. And dear viewer, thank you very much for your participation. I'm really keen to read your comments in the comment section. And thanks for your images. I had a few images in the mailbox. This here comes from Gareth. And he put the Seiko Alpinist and a Junghans Max Bill on the Caseback number 1 and number 2 strap. Great watches, great combination, great look, I must say. So thank you very much for that image. And the next image came from viewer Michael. And he sent me one of my most wanted watches, the Cartier Tank Americain. And with some important information, he wrote me, don't use the filters when searching on Chrono24 for your watch. Mine was listed as being a quartz movement when it clearly stated automatic in the pictures of the case back. It wasn't the only one misadvertised on Chrono, so I think their automated system is wrong. Thank you very much, Michael, for that interesting image and this great information here. And the last image comes from John. This is his village in the Scottish Highlands. Please, John, tell me that this is not an image from August or September. And so these were your images. If you want to participate, please send me images you find interesting, wrist shots or other sites, to casebackwatches@icloud.com. And if you want to have your sneak previews as always, then Instagram is your place, caseback_Tim. And now let me thank you very much for your attention, and until next time.